Greetings, Earth and Space Explorers. Welcome to Doc Waller's Earth and Space Report for Friday, November 22, 2024. I'm your host, Bill Waller, an astronomer, science educator, and communicator, coming to you after some much-needed rain here in my hometown of Rockport, Massachusetts. These Earth and Space reports are intended to engage and inform people like you who are curious about Earth as a planet, who care about our life-sustaining biosphere, and who wonder about the greater cosmos and all that it has fostered throughout space and time. Video recordings of these reports are archived on the Earth and Space Reports YouTube channel. They are also in regular rotation on the 1623 Studios Community Access Cable Television channel. I'm grateful for the continuing interest and support shown by Rockport educators and students, Cape Ann cultural colleagues, cohorts of the Gloucester Area Astronomy Club, sundry Earth and space scientists, educators, and communicators, far-flung friends, family, and other curious folk. Thank you for your active participation and encouragements. This evening, we have a bit of what Monty Python might say, and now for something completely different. My guest tonight is Dan Barstow, who will introduce the Earth Music Theater, a unique new platform for experiencing joyous music as you fly over Earth. Daniel Barstow is director of earthmusictheater.org, with movies that combine astronaut photography of Earth with evocative music by world-class musicians. Previously, he was senior education manager for the International Space Station U.S. National Lab, director of Turk's Center for Earth and Space Science Education, president of the Challenger Learning Center Network, and principal investigator for Windows on Earth, with its breathtaking photos of Earth taken by the astronauts. Now retired, he continues his work with Earth photography from space as education mission specialist for the Association of Space Explorers and Earth Music Theater. I first got to know Dan in the early 2000s when he was at Turk in Cambridge, and I was splitting my time between Tufts University and the Museum of Science in Boston as a co-investigator with the New England Space Science Initiative in Education, aka NESSE. We had plenty in common with our combined interests in education and public engagement involving the Earth and space sciences. So when I heard about his new venture with the Earth Music Theater, I quickly reached out to him, and he just as readily agreed to give a presentation as part of the Earth and Space Reports series. So let's get going. The Zoom platform is all yours, Dan.
Great. Thanks, Bill. I'm really pleased to be here, and it's great to keep the connection with you. I really enjoyed working with you before, and now it's a whole new context, so this is terrific. And I'm also really pleased to see Larry, Arthur, Betsy, and Martin, and David, and Michael, all of you, or whoever, those are the names that I read, but it's so good to see you all here. Thank you for joining in. As Bill mentioned, today we're going to talk about and listen to and watch some music movies. I do just a little more detail on the background, then we'll just dive into watching some of these. I currently work with the Association of Space Explorers. That's the professional association of flown astronauts.
Mm.
I'm not an astronaut, so I work as a volunteer curating their archive of photographs taken by the astronauts. I've been working with these photographs now for some 30 years, actually, even before the beginning of the space station. Ultimately, I was senior education manager for the space station and worked on some software we sent up to the space station to support Earth photography. But I tell you, the astronauts, this is different. A scientist, or excuse me, a satellite can go around the Earth and just click, 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 click. But when the astronauts do photography, it's very sort of purposeful. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. Click. Oh, and look at that. Click. And they take now we now have over 4 million photographs. Sometimes they plan ahead and they say, look, we're going to do this nice path coming over Namibia, start on the coast, and then, you see the coast and then it goes inland. And it's just so they set their camera in the window and they go click, 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 click. And they automatically, it takes a picture every second, which we then convert into these movies.
Oh.
So I used to watch all these movies. That was cool. They get the latest downloads. That was wonderful. But, and I would use them with lectures. saying here's plate tectonics, look at the Himalayas, and so on. But I found that people kind of leaned back when I was using them that way.
Hmm.
So I changed, and I was watching one of these movies, listening to some music, and I thought, wow, how about if I just shut up and we just listen to music? So let's try the first one. The music varies. This is um, Bach's Prelude in C, and let me set up the share for this. So all can you all see um, this screen here?
Yes.
Okay. So here we are. This prelude in C. So there's music. This is a harpsichord. There's a musician who said, "You know what? I really enjoy working with you on this. Let's combine my harpsichord and your movies." So let's just watch this. It's 3 minutes.
Sounds a little faint, Dan.
Pardon?
It sounds a little faint,
Okay. So let me try.
and there's no visual.
There's no. Oh, well then we're not sharing
There's
correctly.
no moving visual.
Okay. All right. So now let's try this again. Your screen sharing is paused. So I don't want to still stop share. Let's try this again. Share and QuickTime Player. Share sound, optimize, share. Now do you see it?
It looks different. So let's
Look in the
see if it
clouds.
goes.
Do you see like
Clouds,
clouds? Yeah, okay.
and they're moving.
So I wonder, you're all unmuted. I'd be interested in any feedback on that. First, we're going to see several, but to any thoughts on this? I see David's thumbs up.
It was a spectacular show. I thought it was Africa.
Yeah, it's the coast of Namibia, and it's
Wow.
uh, interesting how. Let me share again here. Okay, that if we start off, there's a globe. See in the lower left, there's a
Hmm.
globe there, and
Yeah.
that shows where the ISS is. The ISS always stays in the center of the image, and the Earth kind of follows the path of
Mm.
as it rotating. And we come in off this coast, first seeing the clouds, and the clouds to me are just they align so well with this music. And the sort of the air, this light, airy, and all the complexity, the interactions between, and among the clouds. Then we come up to the coast. We move along, and then there's this dry coast, and the patterns there of the because there's not much vegetation, you see sort of the rocks really strongly coming through. And then we keep on going inland, and it becomes, a little more, we start getting some vegetation and just sort of becoming a little more amorphous as the music wraps up. So I see, Larry, you're drawing something there.
Hmm. Well, while he's drawing, uh, there was just a recent PBS show on the lions of Namibia, along
Yeah,
the Skeleton Coast,
yep,
and apparently they weren't there before, but they've learned how to survive there
yeah.
by going to the coast and eating the sea life.
Oh, interesting. Huh. Any other comments or thoughts?
I love harpsichord sounds.
Yeah, the harpsichordist is this guy. Bob Van Asperen. He's a Dutch, really a world-class musician. What's so fascinating here, what I really want to sort of share is not just the movies, but also the process of reviewing images, working with music, and trying to figure out the alignment.
Mm.
Let's try another one. So hold on just a moment, please. So now you were asking earlier about the aurora. This
Mm.
one shows the aurora over Norway and Sweden. You can just see that dramatic ring there, and it's now a very different kind of music.
Uh, Things haven't changed. We're still on the harpsichord.
What's that?
We're still at the harpsichord frame.
Oh, okay. Ah, yes. Okay. So let me um, stop share and close this and reopen this and share this one. Okay, now do you see this
Yes.
nighttime view?
Hmm.
Okay. Now we're over southwestern US. You can see off in the distance that kind of reddish color is the Grand Canyon area. There's
Mm.
the Great Salt Lake is in the middle left.
Mhm.
And then just to the far right, you can just barely see the Pacific Ocean off the coast of California and Mexico. So this one, Steve Thomas plays electric guitar and also has a music synthesizer that he plays around. So in this case, he saw this movie and said, what's coming to my mind, and we actually went back and forth with sort of some of his music and then trying a little bit. There's a scene in there that this one starts by showing the cupola view out the window
Mhm.
here. This is these photographs. They underneath the space station. There's this cupola that astronauts love to just go down, float inside, set up their camera, do their photography, their Earth observations. It's a remarkable experience for them. They love to do this. They spend more time in the cupola, second only to sleeping, of anything that they do in the space station, and much of it is volitional when they have the time. So, we kind of played around, wanted to show a little bit of the solar panel and stuff, but this dramatic beginning with the aurora is just so stunning. So what I do is go through the photograph archive and say, well, what are some movies that are especially interesting and powerful? What really is just sucks you right in? And then work with now over 20 different musicians. So we've worked with all of this is volunteer, by the way.
Mm.
The musicians donate their music. I donate my time. The astronauts, all the photographs are in the public domain, although frankly it's difficult to access them in the way that I now have very convenient access to. So, at this point, this is a process of me creating movies working with the astronauts and musicians. But really, this should be humanity making such movies. And so the goal now is to shift to make these kinds of resources available to a broader public. So part of this involves collaboration with the astronauts themselves. I did a presentation to the astronauts at their annual convention, and I'd like to show you that movie. Hold on a second, please. Just a moment. Here we go. Okay, now zoom and share. And here we go. Sound share. All right. So this is about 10 minutes. It includes my presentation to the astronauts, thanking them for doing this photography and introducing to them the concept of Earth Music Theater.
Mhm.
Then it does another piece of music, this now global presentation of Dona Nobis Pacem, a really spectacular presentation. So let me play this. Good morning, and welcome to the cupola of the International Can you see and hear okay?
It's a little
For many
quiet.
of you, it's welcome back to the cupola. Majestic view, isn't it? Here we are over the Pacific with the lovely clouds approaching North America.
Better.
There's Vancouver and Seattle and the snowy mountains beyond, our beautiful Earth. Thank you, astronauts, for taking these movies. You really know how to find superb views. I'm Dan Barstow. I recently retired as Senior Education Manager for the ISS U.S. National Lab. Now, I work enjoyably as a volunteer with the Association of Space Explorers, extending our reach in education, especially with this glorious Earth photography. I'm not an astronaut, but with your movies, I feel like I'm sitting in the cupola by your side, exploring Earth. Thank you. They're an incredible resource. I'm also director of ASE's new earthmusictheater.org that we announced today. Stunning movies that combine your Earth photography with world-class music. All free on the web. That's why I'm here today. We have 10 minutes, so first I'll tell you about Earth Music Theater, then we'll watch our latest movie, released today, Dona Nobis Pacem. I hope you'll enjoy and promote on your social media. But first I want to say you're in for an incredible treat later today. Andre Kuipers, host of this conference, will debut his own music movie, Beyond Ode to Earth, at the huge Ziggo Dome in Amsterdam. The movie features the music of Vangelis as a special tribute. I should be clear, this is Andre's movie and not part of our Earth Music Theater project, but I'm sure it will be spectacular. Congratulations, Andre. I wish I could be there. But really, you're all artists, outstanding photographers of Earth. You float over to the cupola, attach the camera, select a great flight path, and set the timer. Superb work. ASE has a full collection of these movies, and they certainly help our education mission. Here, for example, the rolling hills and valleys of the desert Southwest and the mountains beyond, all formed over eons. Notice the globe tracking the ISS path. It helps viewers get oriented. But what if I stop talking and you just watch? And then we add music. Music is a game changer. Our minds wander between Earth and music. This is not an earth science lecture. This is an emotional experience. We see and hear new harmonies. Clouds interweave the musical threads. Rivers flow through the landscape like improv jazz. I'm sure you've experienced this with your own playlists on orbit. You see Earth with new eyes and hear music with new ears. That's the idea of Earth Music Theater, exploring synergies. Here, we're listening to Dr. Nicholas Galusis, a master of classical guitar. A few months ago, he watched some of your movies, took a few orbits of Earth, then he provided his absolutely stunning guitar adaptation of a Bach violin sonata. I think it aligns quite well. And here is Steve Thomas, who works creatively with electric guitar, keyboard, and digital magic. It's a whole different feeling, maybe giving you new insights. Over the past 2 years, ASE worked with 20 musicians and several astronauts. What sparks the imagination? What music aligns with which views of Earth? Leland Melvin, astronaut and talented musician, just sent us this teaser. He set up a large screen in his home along with his music keyboards. He hangs out in his virtual cupola as the Earth views inspire his music, like this. We've made 30 movies so far, with much more in the queue. Classical guitar, jazz, indigenous music, even whale songs. Think of this as a form of art, a dance of Earth and music. Well, today, ASE launches earthmusictheater.org, where we present these movies to the world, free on the web, a gift to humanity. We also announce an important partnership with the University of California, San Diego, and their UCTV Global Media Network for large-scale reach. On YouTube, UCTV will feature one new movie every week for a year. 52 movies. They call it Earth Serenade. To get started, we released these 4 movies. Windows on Earth, with music by Steve Thomas, who you heard a few moments ago. It's a great place to start. Earth Chaconne, with an award-winning performance of Bach's Violin Chaconne by Qinju Wang. Joy of Flight, with Emily Amos, a young organist playing with heart and soul as she looks over Earth. In Sunset Serenity, Steve is back again with a flowing series of a sunset from space. Finally, we have today's new release, Dona nobis pacem. Grant us peace. This Bach masterpiece was performed by musicians around the world as part of a global event during COVID. We overlay on a night pass with the lights and music showing how we are all connected. Michael Mao, artistic director for this musical event, commented, "The touching plea for peace at the end of this movie is truly a moving message. We must care for Earth." We are indeed a global community. Kudos to the musicians, both in Leipzig and around the world. A special thanks to you astronauts on ISS 42 and 67 for taking these movies, and to NASA Crew Earth Observation, ESA, JAXA, and others for putting their photos in the public domain. But we are just scratching the surface of this art form. ASE is also working with the San Diego Supercomputer Center to build new tools to help others make Earth movies. We welcome your creative ideas if you're interested, or just turn off our music and play your own. Please visit earthmusictheater.org and promote on social media. And let's take care of home planet Earth. Thank you. So I will next want to show you more about Earth Music Theater, but why don't I just pause here and just sort of open up for conversation?
Any thoughts,
We're
y'all?
all stunned. That's a wonderful presentation. Thank you so very much for sharing that. And I can't wait to look at the online videos you're putting out. Hello.
Michael, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I do. I was trying to get them in order, but if you want them in their current form, you can have them.
Go for it.
Uh, Harkening back to one of the first videos, if not the first, um, coming in over Namibia.
Yeah.
The music was so structured that it almost became a given against which you could measure all these violent changes in the landscape, right? And
Yeah.
when you go to a more free-form musical performance, then it's competing with the landscape. And you
Hmm.
got to look at one or you got to look at the other, rather than looking at one within the context of the other,
Hmm.
which was the Namibia experience.
Boy, that's a really insightful set of comments there, Michael. I hadn't heard it expressed that way. It's um, many different kinds of music. I mean, we have whale songs, as we fly over Florida and the Caribbean, and that's a whole different emotional experience. We've got, indigenous music. Lately, I've been working with more popular music. And there's sort of this, as I think I said in the video, there's this dance between what you see and what you hear. Sometimes you attend to what you hear, sometimes you attend to your eyes, sometimes they reinforce each other, sometimes, as you're saying, like with the free form, they might be disconnected. But um, the idea is to engage the mind creatively. I find that when I just show the movie without the music, the attention span is maybe 30 seconds or something, and then that's interesting.
Mhm,
But when you add the music also carries an impetus to it,
mhm.
and so on. So it's are you a musician, Michael?
Yeah.
What do you play?
Well, some people would say so, others would not.
I
Yeah.
would say so.
Yeah, what kind of music, Michael?
I'm a bassist. I've been for 50 years.
Wow. Cool.
And an English literature professor
Okay. All right.
and an amateur astronomer.
There you go. How about David? Do you have comments?
No,
Okay.
thumbs up.
Yeah, and
Say, when you were flying over the Ukraine at one point, I was waiting to
yeah,
see explosions. Uh,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
wow. And I tell you, are these being presented in classes as part of a program already, or what's your market going into beside here I'm sharing? I mean, are there
Right.
specific things?
Yeah. So, hold on a second here and let me um, um, open up here. Uh, there
While you're
we
doing it,
go. Yep.
in the Namibia scene, there was a place where there was a matrix of holes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder what those were.
It's actually, we studied that interestingly. It's some people, there's sort of t settlements where each of those, it was in woods, or sort of not woods, but sort of small brush. They
Hmm.
clear the areas around where they have like a fire or something in the center, and it's sort of a circular clear cutting in a sense.
Hmm.
For indigenous use, but that's essentially what that is. So now let me just do this share and get to, here we go. Okay, now do you see the screen that says Earth Music Theater?
Yep.
Okay, so you asked, are there how these are used? The most important way is just getting them out into the public. This website, and I encourage you to visit it, it's called earthmusictheater.org. Earthmusictheater.org has all of our movies on it. They're, I've showed you some of these already. The Dona Nobis Pacem, Windows on Earth, the Pathway to Center is a pretty interesting one too. Each of these now is a different musician. And you can go there and just explore any that you want.
I can see
We
it
all
taking up a lot of time. It's going to be a great thing to watch.
absolutely. And you also, we feature one new movie every week. So this one today is this Earth Serenade by a German trio called Stardust Symphony. That they have the lead woman plays the flute. There's a harpsichord and a vibraphone. This view shows us flying over Patagonia in Chile and Argentina. And I'll say that we're working on another one that has more just close-up photos because what we've seen over the 22 years of the space station, for example, is incredible, tragic retreating of the glaciers year
Mm.
after year.
Don't look
It's
at
one of
the
the starkest.
rainforest.
Pardon?
Yeah. Don't look at the rainforests.
Yeah, yeah. So, right. So it's and then there's the blog at the top among the menu things here. The blog near the end shows all of the ones that we've released. It's kind of a sequence that we're going through the year. The first one was the Windows on Earth with Steve Thomas. Then you really have to see this. This is absolutely stunning. This Earth Chaconne, this violin award-winning performance as we fly over the Sahara, the Mediterranean, and then in fact continue on to the Ukraine. Then there's this organist, nighttime flight, and the sunrise and sunset. Let's take a look at this one. Do you see it?
Oh, yeah. Not large or moving yet, but
Oh, hold on,
here,
Yeah, and it's
hold on.
quiet.
Yep, yep. Let me try this again here.
technology, huh?
I have so many apps open all the time that it okay, so now I'm gonna restart this here and um, on my Zoom I'll share the here it is. Okay, share that. Okay, do you see it now?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Back in the 60s, you'd take good drugs to see this.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you expand it?
Um, if I do, I think I need to re-link the sharing.
Oh
So
dear.
let me do that. I'll do that. I
Okay.
think it'll work.
You're the man, Dan.
Yeah, well, here we go. Okay, share. Is it now full screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. Wow.
Yeah, so Steve is really a wonderful musician. He just it to me this kind of peaceful, serene, floating guitar is just so perfect for this. Steve's now working on doing a live presentation. He calls it Earth Music Theater Live in Northampton. He's got a big stage and we'll be projecting it onto the wall. There's a group at this Stardust Symphony in Germany is running with this. We did an IMAX movie using these. They played live, and they were just these tiny people in front of the largest IMAX theater in the world, actually.
Mm.
But this is it's a creative process to just kind of experiment, just say, well, what the heck, let's try this. But
You guys
really,
funded? Are
go
you
ahead,
funded?
Arthur. Pardon?
Are you funded? Who,
Um,
who's helping you get
Yeah,
money?
that's an interesting question. I do this free as a volunteer. Our budget, we have to pay for the web connection. We have to pay for, I pay for the equipment, these fast solid state drives that can handle the terabytes of data. But in my view, the magic is that it's free, and that opens up more doors than trying to get funding.
Mm.
I've been the funding route, gotten lots of grants in my life. There's always overhead, there are always delays, it's always a problem, although you do get the money. But they're musicians, Emmy Award winning musicians who are eager to do this kind of work. And I say, here's the deal. You give your music for free. I create the movie for free, and then we post it for free with the astronauts on the Association of Space Explorers website, and you, musician, can do what you want with it. So and then under those conditions, it transforms it from being a commercial venture into a creative community.
Mhm. There's a concert center here in Rockport called the Shaylin Liu Performance Center,
Yes, I remember I haven't been there, but I've been in Rockport and walked by it.
and they have a nice big screen where
Yeah.
they show the operas from the Met.
Yeah.
And so that might be a very nice venue
Do
My
for
you have
son-in-law,
connections there, Bill?
my
I
son-in-law is the stage manager.
And by the way, the next every week I'm gonna if Bill, if you can send me all the emails of these folks,
I
I can
can.
add you to, if you'd like, to the weekly posting I do of new movies every Friday.
Be wonderful.
The one coming next Friday will be spectacular. Um, It's Seiji Ozawa, and those of you,
Oh,
from Massachusetts, Seiji Ozawa, who passed
yeah.
away a couple of years ago. But his final conducting performance in Japan was broadcast directly to the space station as a special event.
Wow.
So after doing that, the ASE and the astronauts said, we want to thank Seiji Ozawa for this, wonderful performance of Beethoven's Egmont Overture. Um, so we combined a flight with his conducting. Now here he is. He is old. He's in a wheelchair. He's not as alert as he used to be. He can barely move his arms, but he conducts with such emotional power. It is just this incredible thing to see him do this, and then to combine this with this sort of view of Earth and space is just stunning.
Wow.
That's gonna be next Friday. But let me just mention that, you all have your own musical interests. You have your own tastes, your own playlists. The astronauts, when they go to the cupola, every single one of them has their
Mhm.
iPod or whatever, and iPhone, and they have their own playlists, and it covers the gamut from heavy rock and roll to soft, floaty, ethereal music.
Mhm.
So you too have your own favorites. So what you can do is just go to our website and queue up any of the movies, turn off our music, and play your own. That's what I want to encourage you to do. Now, ultimately, we're creating a venue for you to download the source movies so that you can create your own videos. But for now, the simplest thing is to just watch any of them and choose your own playlists.
Like a Build-A-Bear. Wow, spectacular. Um, Incredible stuff.
Thanks. Thanks, Arthur.
Gee, I wish they'd built a prettier space station. What an ugly pile of stuff. I mean, it has great view, but you'd think that they could make a clear plexiglass dome that you didn't have to see. I mean, they're going, I know, through the
Yeah,
window. But can you imagine they can build something to go 30,000 feet under the ocean
yeah,
in a sphere, plexiglass, and they can't put it in vacuum out there.
yeah,
Anyway, that's
yeah,
just side comment.
yep,
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
yep.
Does
Bill, you have
anybody
any other
else?
thoughts you want to share?
Yeah, other than the Shale and Lou, I could imagine an event, where you have some great musicians, uh, perhaps in the local area, do what they decide to do in front of the screen as a chosen movie proceeds. I could see that happening, and it would be it could draw
Yeah.
an audience, so that would be fun.
Yeah, somebody suggested that to do this, one night a week, just have the screen there and just have musicians sign up so
Mm,
that, each week is a different set of musicians and, they can pick and choose from among a variety of choices, but then we just play the music and they just riff with it.
mm.
Bill, I think you ought to put Dan in touch with our friend in New York, the piano player, and
Lazarus.
also put Dan in touch with his article on the Galactic Inquirer.
Oh yeah, okay. Yep. Okay. The article in the Galactic Inquirer. It's a good idea. We hosted a composer uh who composed celestially themed music. Would you say call it classical music, Mike?
Yeah, solo piano.
Wow.
And pretty modern. So the scales are more like modern scales. It's
Hmm.
not all harmonic. Uh,
Hmm.
and we had a concert with imagery at a church, at a
Hmm.
Lutheran church.
Oh, wonderful.
Hmm.
Photographs like the ones behind both of us.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, we these in the ones I create, I focus on looking at Earth and the greater sky is sort of, as seen from Earth looking up from the space station. It's kind of like the behind Bill. But what you have, Michael, is we start when you start opening up to the super telescopes and these incredible views, it really just it's just magical.
It was a good combo. And he's still performing suites of this music.
Hmm. Yeah.
And the music is of his own composition.
Yep. Okay.
Mm. Uh,
Larry, do you want to add anything?
I think it's definitely awesome. The music, the availability of these movies that artists can play with. It's
Hmm.
awesome. I'm going to share it with my friends and colleagues.
Great. Great.
well, I think Dan, you've shown what cool stuff can be done even in retirement. So that's
Yeah. Yeah.
encouraging to many of us.
Yeah.
And I thank you, and I will I have my to-dos, and
Yeah.
we'll go forward with it.
Great. And thank you, Arthur, for the connection to Scott. But just a sort of a parting thought that we need to take care of planet Earth. somehow humanity struggles with why and how to do that. My hope in creating these is to set a spirit of love for Earth, of this, music and art. It speaks to the soul, speaks to the heart. And it seems to me that if people can enjoy Earth from this perspective, see it, this kind of overview effect,
Hmm.
and feel this joy in the music. You can set a tone in any kind of artistic creation that we could say, oh my God, look at all these horrible things that are going on Earth. We can fly over, the Amazon, and you see all the deforestation. You can fly over the world, you see all the fires and everything, and this sort of, oh, Earth is just in terrible condition. You could alternatively, which is the path that I'm choosing, is to show all of that, but really in a broader sense of the beauty of Earth and the appreciation of our home planet, to try to set that tone of love and positive thinking about Earth to help, I hope, inspire people to really help us all see Earth as our beautiful home.
Hmm. And we don't need to save the planet. We just need to save that thin little film known as the
Yeah,
biosphere.
yeah, that's an interesting way to say it. Yeah,
It's a lot more doable than you might
yeah,
think.
yeah,
Planet will be fine.
Yeah, planet will be just fine.
yeah.
It'll keep spinning.
Yeah.
So
Off I go.
Well, thank you all so much.
thank you,
Thank
Dan.
Please,
you.
please visit Earth Music Theater and enjoy the movies.
Will do. Thank you.
We'll definitely do. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Have a great evening.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Bill.